Hello, I'm at gutfromthehouse.com, and these are Arbor snowboards. This is the Arbor Westmark Frank April edition. This is the Arbor Draft snowboard. I'm going to walk through their similarities and their differences, and hopefully by the end of the video, you'll be able to figure out which board is best for you. Kind of starting out with a lot of their similarities is that they're all mountain freestyle boards. You can take them from the top of the mountain all the way to the bottom and enjoy your time. But where they really excel is in the parks. This is for, they're both for beginner to advanced level riders, which is great. So anyone who's first learning how to just carve, or anyone first learning how to ollie on top of a box can be on these boards. And then of course for those advanced level riders, you can just have a blast on them. They're both true twin boards. They have center style stances. You can ride them this way or this way, and they're going to feel the exact same. But the reason that I'm kind of comparing these boards instead of some other ones is for a couple of reasons. Number one, the Draft has a parabolic rocker profile shape. The regular Draft series, the Frank April is part of the Westmark series, is they have a Camber version and they have a rocker version, and then they have the Frank April version. The rocker version of the Westmark is really similar to the Draft. It's actually basically just like a little bit stiffer, what I consider to be just a little bit stiffer of a Draft, because it has a power ash top sheet. That's pretty much the only major difference between the Draft and the Westmark rocker version. And that's why I want to grab the Frank April edition, because it's kind of special. It's basically the same thing as the Westmark Camber, except for it has just a little bit of more uprise on the nose. And I want to compare these two because a lot of people who like the Draft also tend to like the Frank April Westmark. Now, the biggest difference between these decks is the profile shapes. The Draft has what's called a parabolic rocker, and as you see, it kind of swivels back and forth and has a rocker profile shape to it. It kind of teeter-totters. That profile shape is actually, it kind of is mellowed out when it gets to the nose and the tail. So there's a good amount of rocker between the feet, and then that rocker kind of like gradually tapers off. So it's not like a continuous style rocker. Anyone who likes jibbing a lot or likes surfing, likes a surfing style feel, tends to really love the Draft. It's really easy to press, but it does have a softer flex rating of about 3. So if you are kind of like a heavier set person and you like lock in a nose press and you really push your hips over the top of that nose, you can like basically fold over the top of that deck. Now, with the Westmark Frank April edition, it has what's called a parabolic camber profile shape. As you see, the center of the board is actually raised off of this table, has a camber profile shape overall, but it's parabolic, meaning that's kind of mellows out to those contact points. The Camber's quick edge to edge has loads of ollie pop and snap on that contact point, but it's also kind of cool because this Camber, parabolic Camber, features uprise fenders on the contact points that makes those contact points less catchy. It's actually a 3-degree kind of, I don't want to say bevel, but they're raised up 3 degrees in those contact points. So overall, the Westmark's going to be a little bit more reactive, a little quicker edge to edge, have higher ollie pop, whereas the Draft is going to be a little bit slower edge to edge. The ollie pop is going to kind of lag in its timing, and it's going to be closer. It's going to have just a little bit of a longer of a feel. And then it kind of comes into the construction of the boards. Surprisingly enough, though, it's basically just poplar wood, tip to tail, rail to rail, with biax style glass. Both boards have that, and the biax glass is great because on both the decks it's set at 0 and at 90 degrees. So torsionally, this board can be shifted quite a bit with your feet. So if you're like locking onto a jib, you're going front lip or something, you can actually raise up a section of the board. Should be less likely to catch when you're already sliding. Another big difference about each of the decks is the Westmark Frank April has a sintered style base. This is going to absorb a lot of wax. It's going to need to be maintained a little bit more than what you'll find in the Draft. The Draft has an extruded style base, really low maintenance, of course, and both boards have been factory waxed by Wend Wax Works. Another great thing about both decks is that they feature grip tech style edges. It's a tri-radial side cut. There's actually 3 different side cut radiuses on each of the boards. a larger one on the nose and on the tail, and a smaller one in between the feet with unblended transition zones that make protruding edges that help you to grip on firm snow directly on your nose or underneath your toes and your heels. It's really, you can kind of feel it on the Camber version. But the Camber version basically has like full contact no matter how much tilt you put on the board. Whereas the Draft, you'll benefit from having that grip tech a lot more because it's a rocker profile shape. When you put a little tilt on a continuous rocker board, usually they kind of wash out a little bit. And that's not the case with the Draft because of that grip tech directly underneath those toes and heels. This is a 360 wrap style steel board, so those edges wrap all the way around, and there's a 360 wrap sidewall. But to kind of give you that big broad overview of both the Westmark Frank April versus the Draft, is that the Westmark Frank April, because of the Camber profile shape, again, quicker edge to edge, a little bit more torsionally stiff than what you'll feel in the rocker version, even though it's still easy to turn or easy to twist. And then that ollie pop's going to be directly on that tail contact point, whereas the Draft is going to be a little bit more surfy, not as quick edge to edge, and it's going to be just a little bit softer in that ollie, but a lot easier to press than what you find in the Frank April. So there you have it. You know, leave a comment or a question. I know it's kind of a wild, long video, so for those of you guys who stuck it out, thanks for watching. Leave a comment or a question. You know, really let us know what you think of these boards, and if you have trouble deciding after this video which one you really want, like, let us know and we'll do our best to try to get back to you as soon as we can. Subscribe to the vid there, check out more vids there, and hopefully we'll see you guys on snow. Peace.